Hello, my name is Ita Richardson. I'm an associate professor with the Department of Computer Science and Information Systems at the University of Limerick. And I'm also a graduate, and my interest, I suppose, in equality and diversity very much stems from the fact that I'm in computing in an area where there have been very few women all throughout my years. And when I started in UL, I became very interested in why we had such low numbers of women. And this morning, I'm delighted to be in discussion with Aongus Hegarty, President in Dell.
Hi, Ida. Delighted to be with you. Delighted to have the opportunity to connect with our alumni graduates. I am a graduate of UL myself from business studies. And I'm also a native of Limerick as well too, so I take every opportunity to get back there. I'm passionate about diversity and inclusion, and I come from it from a business perspective. I see it as a critical business imperative to the success of any team, any organization, or any business. Looking forward to the discussion.
Okay, and just to pick up on that, I suppose I would argue around equality and diversity. For me, there's three things that I'm particularly interested in. One is the social justice side, that every young woman should be given the opportunity to make choices without pressure from peers, without pressure from parents, that whatever they are interested in, they should be allowed to pursue. And the second one is the legislation side. This isn't an order, but on the legislation side, I think discrimination is really important. And we're always in my book, there's a lot of subtle discrimination going on. And thinking about this, I would say, for example, the computer labs, the layout of all our computer labs, our rows are, the person working with the computer. And I think that's very off-putting for young women. Whereas as a software engineer, I know there are lots of other jobs that involve people that have to be involved. And then you alluded to the third one, which is the economic one. And how can our society be the best economically if we don't have the best minds? So maybe you could talk a little bit about that from the company perspective, Aongus.
I fully agree. I mean, as a company, Dell Technologies is very keen that we create a highly diverse, highly inclusive organization. So to your first point, reaching back into not just universities, and in fact not even secondary schools, right back into primary schools, encouraging all kids to consider careers in technology, to think about the science subjects. And of course, we put a focus in getting more girls interested in careers in those areas. And we're doing that across Ireland and many countries across Europe and now globally as well. And it's done by all our own team members who are passionate about those areas. And then, of course, as they enter through education and even into university, we have a program called STEM Aspire, because we've seen a massive dropout rate that even women who are choosing subjects in university are not pursuing careers then in technology and in those areas. So mentoring and supporting those individuals to continue to think about careers and open up opportunities and see the opportunities that exist within companies leveraging those types of skills so we can enhance the diversity. You know, ultimately, we want to make sure that as we hire people into our company and into organizations, that we have a diverse slate of candidates. And we know from our own work that if you have, two diverse candidates, and diversity, of course, is gender, but many other lenses as well, you're 53% more likely to hire a diverse candidate. Now, our philosophy is very clear. We will hire the best person for the job, but I want to create the opportunity for us to be able to engage and connect with more diverse candidates so that we can enhance the diversity in our company. And we have the exact same policy around promotion and career development and growth in our company as well too. So just two areas on your first point. If I touch on the economic point I brought up, yeah. I think anything in business, whether it's environment, sustainability, whether it's diversity and inclusion, if you anchor it in a key business impact, and there's tons of studies out there from McKinsey and others, that if you have a diverse and inclusive culture in your team, in your business, in your organization, you're significantly more likely to be successful in all of the financial metrics you can think about, in winning in the marketplace, but also more importantly around increased innovation and development in your company, which obviously is the sustainability for your company and growth for the future as well too. So as a business leader, that's where I come from, is the business impact. I of course want our team and organization to be reflective of the marketplace. And let's be clear, the population is 50% men, 50% women. If I'm across multiple markets, I want the organization to be representative of the cultures and diversities in those marketplaces. We want to have young people in our organization, and we also want people like myself, a little older, who have experience. So it's about that diversity of thought, of experience. And when you have that with inclusivity, because inclusivity unlocks the diversity of thought, it means that you get to better decisions. You avoid, everyone thinking the same way and coming up with the same answer. And I think at times like this, we're economically challenged. We've got to come up with other ways and better ways to increase growth in our companies and economic prosperity, etc. You need a diverse organization with collaboration, engagement, inclusivity to drive better outcomes. So they'd be two just to touch on two of the elements you mentioned.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I think if you were to come back to UL now, even the staff at the levels that they're at has actually changed significantly. And for example, one of the things that we've done is made sure that we have gender balanced interview committees. Excuse me. So all men, which I have gone into, I've sat in front of all men for interviews in my earlier career. Like, that just is a thing of the past. And I think that's such a welcome, because it does make a difference. I mean, it is seen that people will take on people that reflect themselves. So that diversity is so important. And I suppose the challenge for us now is how we move that beyond gender. That because we have people from different races, different ethnicities, how do we make sure that we can bring those people, making sure that there is a representation of those diversities on our committees as well. So it certainly does make a difference.
Fully agree. And in business life, and as we work as an organization, we try to look at everything from those lenses. Gender is one, obviously there's culture, there's all the elements you want to look at. And it can be panels you're interviewed on. It's also, inside your own organizations, when you have a meeting, and you have people up on the stage. Do you have that diversity on the stage? Because, whether it's an external conference or an internal conference, you want people in the audience to see themselves on that stage. They want to see their culture represented there, or they want to see their gender represented there, or they maybe want to see their age group represented there. And in our industry, particularly the technology industry, these are important aspects in how you widen the net of hiring and where you're looking to attract talent, because it's a very competitive market. We want more gender diversity going into STEM subjects and science and technology, but we also need a lot more people going into those as well too. So the broader you're viewed and the broader the view you take is extremely important in ensuring that you're attracting a broader diversity of talent. If I switch gears a small bit to around how we have kind of focused around, or how my own thoughts around focus on diversity and inclusion, because I know we have many graduates from UL that are listening to this discussion we're having, and maybe working in business or working in public sector in different areas, and how do they think about making it a more diverse and inclusive organization and company and business. I mean, from my perspective, there's a few things. One, it has to be led from the top of the company, from the top of the organization, because frankly, this is all about walking the talk. It's about doing and driving change. There's still too much out there that's like nice social media coverage. And so for me and for our organization, from Michael down through, it's walk the talk. So you have to lead from the top. Bring your team together, bring your organization together, reflect and look at the team you have around you, and position this as a business imperative that you want to create a more diverse organization, you want to create a more inclusive organization. I'd love to tell everybody that there's two little things you do, silver bullets, and if you do those two things, you'll be good. It's not. Many, many things. It's some of the things we chatted about, either in attracting talent, in having a diverse slate of candidates, having your team and your company and your business or your public service entity representative internally and externally on the importance of this, and reflecting that we embrace that diversity as well too. It's simple things like the ads. You'll know this, the wording that we put in the ads, the people who interview in the panels, and and reflecting. When we go out to the universities, we have our recent graduates who've joined us go to the universities, because ultimately you're saying to them, look, I'm about 2 years older than you are, and a year older than you. I'm in this company and it's a great place, and here's what I've experienced. So it's about reflecting who you're looking to attract in, and then creating those opportunities. And then inside the organization, it's around development programs. It's around making sure that, you know, as you grow careers and develop careers, you're looking at that diversity of talent and fostering it, and making sure that, you know, as you get a promotion and opportunity, that there's a diverse slate inside your company for those jobs and opportunities. One critical area of learning for me is, you know, I remember going to a women networking conference many years ago over in Prague, probably about 10 years ago now, and I was one of maybe 5 men among 800 women. You know, what's really important is that it is about men and women passionate about creating a diverse organization and enhance diversity and inclusivity. So it's really important to engage male leaders in that. And we ran programs, one called Many Advocating Real Change, where we engaged both men and women from a leadership perspective in understanding things like unconscious biasness, privilege, and those other elements. And I did that program myself, I think about 8 years ago, the first time. And I learned a lot about that I had unconscious biasness. I didn't have a great breadth of cultural diversity in my organization. And that, look, there's nothing wrong with that. It's natural, it's human. We're attracted to, we look at people who look like us, etc., and so on. So you have to re-engineer your lenses to be across those multi-areas as well. But engaging more of the male leaders to be, you know, clearly focused on enhancing that diversity and inclusion. There'd just be a few of the areas I would highlight as important to help drive that diversity. But the inclusivity is really important. You can have a wonderful diverse team with all of the things we talked about, but if at the team, company culture and leadership level, you're not fostering inclusivity, people don't feel belonged, part of it, and listened to in their opinions and thoughts. So you have all these wonderful ideas, you have all these wonderful experiences, but they're not coming out to solve your problems. And that comes down to leadership, the team leader, the leader of the company, you know, having that approach, that leadership style that is listening, collaborative, engaging, and draws out, and therefore you end up with a better product, a better service, a better decision, because you've leveraged that diversity of thought and ideas.
See, that's interesting. You shifted to that, and I was going to ask you, what advice would you give? You see, so there you are, you're after giving it. So thank you so much for that. And I'm just going to, so I just wrap up, I think, because what I wanted to, I suppose you're talking about from the business side, I want to talk about it just very briefly. I think as our alumni who are parents, who are peers, who have nieces, who have daughters, you know, that please think about allowing them the opportunity. Give them the overall experience. You know, don't knock from girls that they are capable of being good people within STEM, because the whole world is changing. We've seen huge shifts in the last few months, but we've seen shifts over many, many years. And if we look at lots of different domains, technology underlies many of them. So it's really incumbent on you as parents and as family and as friends to really, really support your younger children, colleagues, call them what you will, siblings, to actually come in and really to think about it. We're not saying they have to, but please do not discourage. I think that's what I see. That's what bothers me most, is when I see discouragement of younger girls. So
just one point, which I think I'd say to all the parents that are out there thinking about their children and their careers, there's another reason. There is going to be significant jobs and creation with technology and STEM in the years ahead. I think across the EU, European countries, we have over 600,000 jobs based on current coming out of education, coming out of universities, coming out of colleges, apprenticeship programs, etc., that we will not be filled unless we ramp up what we're doing. I know UL is at the forefront in driving that, but we have to attract, to your point, more boys, girls into those areas. And if they do, there is a career ahead for them. There is a lot there for the future. Technology is transforming. 20% of the stimulus budget in the EU of 750 billion is purely on technology, on stimulating technology, new jobs, businesses and opportunities. The other area is around sustainability, which is also linked to technology, which is a massive enabler to sustainability. So there is significant careers, jobs and opportunities ahead. So we want our children to be pointed in the direction of where those jobs and things are for the future. So there's a very important reason, you know, financially, economically, and career-wise to do it as well too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And when I give talks to, you know, so I might be giving a talk to schools or open days or to career guidance teachers, like what I do is I have a quick look at the job ads for the previous week. And I can always pull up job ads in Ireland around technology and careers. So I think people need to be very, very aware of that. And I suppose people like Aongus, leaders in big companies, you know, the men supporting women, I think is a really important for me as a woman. It is really important when I see that. And I so love, I think things have improved a bit since you were at that conference 8 years ago, I would hope. And certainly when I go to conferences now, we have more men who are supporting women. And I think that's so important. So Aongus, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. It was a pleasure to meet you. And we look forward to seeing the progress that you're making within Dell. So thank you.
Thank you, Ita. Enjoyed the discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.